Hi guys, it's Alise, and today we have a book review on what I think is going to be one of 2021's most popular books. I'm calling it now, and that is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. Welcome back. My name is Alise. My obsession is with books, and if you too are obsessed with books, then sit back, relax, hang out, and subscribe because you have found the right place. For my book reviews, I give an overall summary, my thoughts and feelings, the pros, the cons, my rating, and then the good part, the spoilers. So let's get started. This glorious book is about a 17-year-old named Maverick Carter. Maverick is a lovely kid who lives with his mom. His father was a former gang legend and he's currently incarcerated. Maverick has taken on the notion that a real man takes care of his family, and since his mom works 2 jobs, Maverick has decided to help her by assisting with money. The only problem with that is Maverick feels like he needs to make money the only way he knows how, and that is dealing for the King Lords, the gang that his father was the leader of and the gang that he's currently affiliated with. So at the start of the story, this is kind of how his life is going. It's obviously not what he would want to be doing, but he has a great girlfriend, a great family, and he's doing what he thinks is best. However, things change quickly for Maverick when he learns that he has a kid. And he realizes that balancing a kid, going to school, and selling drugs is not the easiest thing to do. He's given an opportunity to get his life on the right track, and he takes that route. However, being affiliated with the King Lord gang has him sometimes questioning what path he should really take. Then when the brutal murder of a loved one occurs, he really has to start thinking about whether he wants to continue the straight and narrow or go back to the King Lord life. Also, this book is set in Garden Heights, 17 years before the events in The Hate U Give occurred. This is the kind of delicious content I was yearning for 2021. I read some great books in 2020, but this is like just scrumptious. Everything about this was so good. An excellent plot, wonderfully paced, lovely writing, perfect lead. What I'm basically saying is you need to read this book. My cons, what cons? There are no cons. This book was wonderful. I really have none. If I just had to like nitpick at something, I would say there were some things at the end that I was expecting to go differently, but I think it's because I was overthinking the plot. But no cons, no cons. The pros are literally everything else. This left me feeling all kind of emotions. There were so many great twists and turns. It was pretty realistic. Wonderful. Maverick, the lead character, was so well written. One huge thing that I loved about this book: Miss Angie Thomas knows how to get to the freaking point. I love descriptive writing, but like sometimes I don't need a 2-page synopsis of what the park looked like. She got in, she got out, it was quick, it was fast, but we still learned everything we needed to learn, and a good, clean story. I loved it. This book also covered some really serious topics, but she also managed to make me laugh throughout the entire book. I love that. There was a really good balance. One of the biggest pros that this book had, I would say, is that I would recommend it to people who do not read. This is a great book for people who don't like to read because it's quick paced, it's interesting. I read this in a day. There's over 300 pages, but it's so good and it's so like, you're gonna be done with it in no time. So we love a book that brings in the non-readers. And for my rating, I think it's obvious, but I would give it a 5 out of 5. Angie Thomas did her thing with this book. This is actually the first book that I'm reading of hers. I did not read The Hate U Give, but I will 100% be reading The Hate U Give because I cannot get enough of her writing. She's great. She's great. Okay, my beautiful people, if you have not read this book, which if you haven't, why? But if you have not read it, it's time for you to skedaddle because we are getting into spoilers. So goodbye. All right, let's get into it. The babies. Now, I don't know if this is something you would only know if you read The Hate U Give, but I had zero clue that Maverick was A, going to have a baby that was not from Lisa, his girlfriend, and B, that he was going to have 2 babies, like back to back like that. But he turned out to be an excellent father, so that was really awesome. And the babies helped change his life. So when you weigh it like that, I think it was all worth it, but oh, he kept giving me little mini heart attacks. We have to talk about Dre. Okay, honestly, even though Dre was like super cool and like helping Maverick every single time something happened and just being the awesome cousin that he was, I thought he was gonna kind of end up being a villain. I thought that he may have ended up hurting King because King was, you know, doing stuff behind the King Lord's backs. by, what was it, slinging on his own. So I thought he may end up kind of being villainish, but no, Amber, that's not what happened. So I knew King or Dre would be one of the ones to pass away, but I did not expect it when it happened. They were just having a good time. He was trying to be a good person for his cousin and a good friend and brother, and he was always just a good ear and a good light for Maverick. So that was really hard, and I was really sad. We love you, Dre. You deserve better. I have a conspiracy. I really thought the whole time that Sean or King was behind Dre's death. I do not think Red did it. Is this gonna be mentioned in The Hate U Give? Oh, don't spoil it for me, but I thought Sean was acting funny. I knew they said that Dre may have been doing stuff kind of like King on the side, unless I misunderstood that. And I knew King knew that Dre was trying to stop him, and then King started acting weird, like really weird and sketchy. So I thought Sean or King killed Dre. Did anybody else feel that way? Mav's mother, I loved her. She was a really good mom. His dad was a better character than I've seen a lot of incarcerated dads in these books and films. I think he really did care for his son. Mr. Wyatt, I love Mr. Wyatt. He was strict, he was a lot, but he was a true supporter and a great example for Maverick. So I cannot have this review and not mention Mr. Wyatt and his wife. His wife seemed really sweet too, but we learned a lot about Mr. Wyatt, or you know, a decent amount, and he was great. King was sketchy to me. I'm nervous about what's going to happen with him in the future. I really hope he changes because he's going down a path that I'm just not comfortable with, but we'll see. Mav was a sweetheart, and regardless of what he got into, he always tried to find solutions to problems, and he kept getting problems one after the next. I just feel, like I said earlier, he was so well written and he was very inspiring, and I just hope he continues to be the great man that he is, which I'm assuming from The Hate U Give, he does become that, but you know, I hope there's another book about him. All right, guys, that concludes my book review of this amazing, excellent book. If you have not read it, please do. If you have, let me know your thoughts in the comments. With that said, until we meet again, go read.